So you want to play tank and where winds meet. Hey, I ain't mad at you. It's a fun class, but I do think that we should go over some of the pros and cons first. The first pro is that you're a pretty beefy boy. You have a ton of super armor and shielding, which gives you high survivability in PvP and PvE. Second pro is that you can actually dish out a good amount of damage with this class, so as long as you're playing it the right way, and I can't tell you how many times I've been top DPS when I play with friends and randoms. Lastly, it's a relatively simple class to play, and most of your damage is going to come from charge attacks, which means it's way less actions per minute. Now moving on to the cons. You're pretty immobile and struggle to move around like some of the other builds and weapons. You're not very bursty, which means you're going to have more of a sustained rate of damage, and it may be a little bit harder in PvP, and you might have to adjust your playstyle a little bit. Lastly, the skills aren't quite as flashy as some of the other weapons, but that's okay because it feels really good when you see huge damage numbers. With that being said, if you're still interested in playing tank, let's go ahead and get into it.
So I'm assuming if you're going to play tank, you're obviously going to want to run the Stormbreaker Spear and the Thundercry Blade. I have seen some people run the Thundercry Blade and substitute out the Spear for something else, like a higher DPS option. But honestly, I don't really think that that's worth it. I think that the synergies you get between the Spear and the Blade are good enough for you to run both of them. Getting into the skills of the Thundercry Blade, the first one that we have is your Q, and it's called Predator Shield. Basically, you're going to get a health shield equivalent to 25% of your max HP for 8 seconds and increase your fighting spirit by 2 bars. If you don't know what fighting spirit is, it's basically those little shields that you have on the bottom right corner above your weapon, and this is the only skill that you have that'll be able to charge those up. The next skill is Sun Rush Gale. It's going to consume 2 bars of the fighting spirit, and it's basically going to suck a bunch of enemies up. It's pretty good in PvE and PvP. It's a really good form of hard CC and will allow you to combo people up afterwards, either by switching to your spear or using some of your mystic skills. You can charge either your light attacks or your heavy attacks. You'll either glow gold or red. If you glow gold, you'll start to get that fortitude, which basically fortitude, all that is making you immune to any stagger, but not immune to CC. So someone can still stun you out of your attack, but this is a really good attack in PvE, and sometimes if you can get it off in PvP, it'll do a ton of damage. Now, you do have something called a varied combo, which basically means that you could add an extra attack at the end of the animation to slam down on their head. If you glow red, you'll also add a 20% damage boost to your heavy attack combo, which hits insanely hard. Now switching over to the Stormbreaker Spear, you do have a skill called Storm Roar, which is pretty good for PvE. It allows you to kind of play as a tank and taunt an enemy, and it also reduces damage taken for 16 seconds by 20% or by 40% when you're fighting a multiplayer campaign boss. This is another skill that gives you fortitude and is really good to use in the arena as it can break a lot of combos and allow you to start a combo up. Also, by glowing gold, a lot of people mistake it for Serene Breeze, which is a good way to bait theirs out. The next skill is called Thunder Shock. Again, you get fortitude during this skill, which means nobody's going to be able to attack you out of it, but it is going to consume 2 bars of fighting spirit, but you're essentially just going to kick somebody in the face and then slam your spear on their head, which will knock them on the ground, and then allow you to follow up with a combo however you see fit. By far, one of the best things about the spear is the charge attack skill. You're going to get fortitude during it as well. You can activate this skill by holding down your heavy attack, and it's going to actually do quite a bit of damage, and you do gain a buff called Drumbeat. Now, when you have Drumbeat active, it'll allow you to actually activate your perception skill in your Moblade, which changes it from Predator Shield to Heaven Shift. You're still going to gain a 25% shield. However, you're also going to get a buff called Breakthrough, which is going to allow you to deal more charge attack damage. Now moving on to the inner ways, I'm not going to read them out too much. Trapped Beast is really good, especially in PvP. When you drop below a certain amount of health, you're basically going to get a ginormous shield, which is going to absorb a ton of damage. Exquisite Scenery is also really good. I use this a lot in PvP. Basically, when you block an attack, you can instantly do a gold charged heavy attack without charging. Art of Resistance is also really good. It just basically improves your shields. And then Morale Chant is just also really good. It's going to allow for you to increase your physical penetration, thus dealing even more damage. Now, if I'm running PvE, the only difference I do is I'll swap this out and swap this out for Adaptive Steel, and then Battle Anthem, which is basically just going to give you a ton of charge attack damage.
As far as gear, I'm trying something a little bit different, and I don't even have it finished just because of the recent breakthrough. However, I am using the Hawking set, which gives you access to the Swaying Height set for your DPS options.
Once you have 4 pieces, you're going to increase the damage dealt against targets with more than 50% HP by 5%, and it's basically a stacking percentage depending on how much HP that they have. As far as the defensive set, I am working towards building this out completely, but it's going to do a similar effect except for reducing damage, right? I did used to use the Moonflare set that you would get from the Stone Split boxes. I didn't really think that this defensive set really gave you much of a benefit in PvP, which I really enjoy. Um, I guess you did get a decent one from the DPS set. It basically gave you some more charge attack damage, which is good for bosses if you want to use it that way. However, if you're looking for PvP, this is what I use. As far as your arsenal, make sure that you switch it over to Stone Split and then fill it up with the best gear that you can. I'm still obviously working on mine. You know, we only had the breakthrough yesterday, so I still have a little bit of gear to fill up. Now moving on to the Mystic skills. Absolutely non-negotiable is Serene Breeze. Basically what it does is it breaks you out of any combo or CC and allows you to combo some other people up. However, there are 3 options that you have once you use this. The first option is you can go ahead and combo somebody up if you know that their Serene Breeze is on cooldown. The second option is you can disengage and kind of reset. Or the third option is you can use your Serene Breeze if you know they have theirs up, because more than likely they're going to use theirs right away. So you can combo this with Dragon's Breath, which is going to allow you to gain some fortitude and they won't be able to continue their combo. The second skill that I run is Cloud Steps, and the reason I run that is because a lot of people just run in Arena. That's just what they do. It is what it is. The third one that I run is Meridian Touch. This is a really good skill just for poke damage, as well as when you break someone's key and you want to do an execute and they start running, you can actually combo your execute with Meridian Touch, and once you get close enough to them, it'll allow you to actually use your execute. The last skill that I like to use on my first bar is Wolf-like Frenzy. This is just going to do a ton of damage, and I like to combo it with a lot of my abilities, just because the Stormbreaker Spear and the Mow Blade don't allow you to combo people up really. You're more so just in and out of fights and fighting with your shield up. This is going to provide you with that extra little damage that the build lacks. Moving on to the second bar, we have Drunken Poet, which is basically going to give you a intoxicated state buff. Once you drink the liquor, you can actually do like a 6-piece combo, or you can also cancel the animation of drinking when you cast Dragon's Breath, which brings me to the next skill. I mean, obviously I do run Dragon's Breath. It's really good for the fortitude, and it also gives you 15% damage reduction if you're getting comboed up. You could use this in between combos and stop someone from actually messing you up, and you get the added bonus of dealing some damage to them. The next skill is Talent Strike. This is really good for breaking people's keys, especially if they're blocking. I mostly only use this when somebody is spam blocking because it breaks through their block. The last skill is Free Morph. I don't really use this a ton. However, I mean, I guess it's kind of situational. I don't really like how it even meshes with the Stormbreaker Spear and the Mow Blade that much. However, occasionally I will use it just to get a little bit of extra damage.
Alright, so now I'm going to go over some PvP commentary, kind of tell you guys what I'm thinking here. You're going to see me go ahead and engage with the Cloud Steps, and then I kind of messed this up because I thought I had Wolf-like Frenzy up, but I didn't. You see me trying to go for it, then he kind of hits me. I'm trying to block it, but you know, he's just doing damage with the Talent Strike, sees me blocking, so I get to shield, suck him up. I switch over, and then I break his combo with the Storm Roar. He's blocking me, or he's parrying me actually, and then I have that fortitude, but unfortunately that doesn't stop you from getting executed. Catches me in a combo, pull out the wolf like, try to CC him a little bit more. Definitely parry anytime you see the frog. That does a lot of damage and applies that poison. You don't want to deal with it. I get back in there using my fortitude, free game, so he gets to walk away, whatever. Shield up, poke damage, engage, pull him in. He blocks it, okay, whatever. I try to charge, right? He's trying to parry it. It's easy to parry, but sometimes you can get the timing and do some damage. Suck him up. Hit him over the head with the bamboo stick. He's doing a little bit of damage. I'm backing up, getting the shield up, and then I'm sucking him up. Bing. Hit him a couple times, charge up, see if it's there. It is. He re-engages, so I get some damage off. He executes me, whatever. poke him down, and you could use that Meridian's Touch to basically close the gap and do your execute just in case somebody runs. But this guy wasn't running, so shout out to him. I do some blocks, have my spear out, can't really do much, shield up, and then I'm just trying to kill him. He has a little bit of health. Now he's kind of running, but it's alright. And then I basically use my Storm Roar and kill him there. We have the arena popping and have a bunch of people from the Mortal Blades come through. I engage with my Cloud Step, try to get a block off and a charge attack. Didn't work. He re-engages. Um, I get CC'd. He messes up his combo a little bit, and then he'll re-engage. And then I use my Wolf-like Frenzy to get some damage in there. He pops his Serene Breeze, so I try to suck him in. Didn't work. He re-engages with my block, so then I use my heavy attack, switched over to the spear, dish out some damage. Pull out the Wolf-like Frenzy, do even more damage, execute. He has a little bit of health left. All I got to do is just use my shield and stay up. He gets blocked, and then I use the little charge attack there too. Kind of messed this up, misjudged the range of my bamboo stick. Do some. Alrighty, in this clip, you'll see me kind of shield up before the fight. I'm charging up an attack, fishing for one, seeing if I can get it. He dodges it. Okay, cool. I now suck him up, smack him a couple times. He pops a Serene Breeze, so I know that's down. Get some damage off, switch over, get him in a little bit of a combo. Smack him again with the bamboo stick. Execute. And sometimes, you can get some more damage off. It's greedy, but sometimes you can. He gained distance, so I close the gap. He engages, so I use my charge attack, get some damage in there. I pop my Serene Breeze just because I knew he already popped his, right? Then I beat him with the bamboo stick. I get hit by the toad, which, like I said, that does a lot of damage, so be careful. Make sure you always cancel what you're doing and parry it. Then Meridians into the execute. He got no health. Smack him up. He's done. Okay, so now I'm going up a guy named Xylenced. He's a rope dart and dual blades guy. I block the token, the mouse, and I get a little bit of an attack off. Suck him up. He pops his Serene Breeze. I get a little bit lucky and hit him with the bamboo stick. Switch over. I try to get a combo off. He stops it. He pops his demon mode. But I think he canceled it, honestly. So I engage. I don't let him get that heal off. Just being really aggressive at this point because I have a lot of health. I have a lot of ki. Suck him in when he tries to run away. Switch over. Do a little bit of CC. Doesn't go through. He uses his Mystic Arts. I pop my Serene Breeze now because I know his is on cooldown. Boom. I get my Empowered Shield. But I'm getting kind of pieced up. He's messing me up right now. Meridian's Touch into the execute. Shield up. I don't want to risk it. My health is low. Kick him in the face. Switch over to the bamboo stick. And then I got him. Alright, so now I'm just going to show you the basic skill rotation when you're doing a boss. Obviously, skill rotations are a little bit harder to do in PvP because people are less predictable, but bosses, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to start out by shielding, right? I get in close to him. I'm just going to let him do this. Parry this. Okay, so now I can actually start the rotation. I'm going to start off with a charge attack. You're a tank. You could tank damage, whatever. Boom. Do that third one. Switch over. Charge attack. Back to the Moblade. Use the shield. And that's honestly the main rotation. Obviously now I can charge attack again. And I'm going to do more charge attack damage. And then should be almost dead. Switch back over. And he's dead. Too easy, right? That's a tank.